Right, welcome back. And I'm going to do another movie review for you. And yeah, this time I'm talking about War Dogs. Uh this movie, it's from the director of the person who did The Hangovers. And I didn't really care much for the Hangover movies. Only saw the first one and then the rest I was like, it's just but this movie was actually much better than I anticipated it to be. So, their basic rundown of the plot: Jonah Hill playing Ephraim, Ravioli, Diveroli, but with ravioli. And then Miles Teller plays the likable and relatable David Packows, who is the story that this is the person who the story is told from the perspective of. So the story is broken up into chapters, very similarly to Tarantino's Hateful Eight. Actually, a couple of the cinematography choices, like some of the like angles of the shots, kind of reminded me of Tarantino. And I was, oh yeah, yeah, some of the grittiness of it. You're like, oh, this feels a little Tarantino-ish. Not, it doesn't have that like that the 80 millimeter quality that you expect though from that you would see in a Tarantino film, because nobody shoots on film anymore. So this movie had plenty of action, drama, and lots of good laughs. Actually, I was pretty engrossed the whole time. I don't think there was ever a point where I was like tired of the movie, or um and then when it did end, I was actually a bit surprised, um because I thought that there was going to be more. It seemed like the story could go on, and but it ends, and you're like, well, I mean, it kind of the ending kind of wraps things up, but you're like, you know that there's more that to that story. Of course, you don't get all the questions. I mean, in real life, all the questions don't get answered. So why would they in this movie about two people who actually existed? So I looked up Ephraim Diveroli, and Jonah Hill went a little bit, a little bit over the top, but not much, not much. The character that Jonah Hill plays is an arms dealer, but mostly runs small contracts. David Packows is a sheet salesman for retirement communities. Buys them whole. He bought a whole bunch wholesale, and his girlfriend apparently didn't have a problem with it. I don't know, except for the fact that he hasn't sold fucking any of them. Then at a funeral, David meets Ephraim. Well, they met. They were actually childhood friends, which how they knew each other. Ephraim talks about how he got screwed out of a bunch of money by his uncle and convinces David to join him in being an arms dealer, because it'll make better money than the like practically non-existent money that you're making selling sheets and doing massages, because he's also a licensed massage therapist. So they say yeah. So he says yes. Now, Cows has a girlfriend who is Hispanic. Since it's Florida, she's probably actually Cuban, but yeah, and there were no negative stereotypes there about the way that Cuban women act, Hispanic women in general. None at all. So then something goes wrong. A bunch of weapons, a bunch of Berettas from Italy, of course, are supposed to make their way to Afghanistan, Baghdad specifically. And they get stopped in Jordan. No, not Jordan. Maybe Jordan. They get stopped somewhere, Middle East. And they're like, "Oh shit, we got to take them by car because that's the only way we can get them there and, get the contract without, you know, basically being put on this list that means that you can't do contracts with the government." Okay. Okay. So they drive these Berettas through the desert, get them to get the contract done, and now they're on the fucking map. After that point, they've got street cred. Not a lot, but a little bit. And so they kind of, start to show how much money that they're starting to make. And at this point, David and his girlfriend, though, they've had a couple of fights. Because he's lied, of course. I mean, while what he is doing is legal, his girlfriend first was against the war. So, this is technically war profiteering and was one of the things that they were protesting. And he's like, well, and also I hid money from you because it's a lot of money. And also, yeah, I'm an arms dealer. So there's that. So then they find the jackpot. They've expanded and they've made a ton of money and it's just rolling in, and they've actually got like an office now and a bunch of people, and they've decided that they're going to go in and be partners. It's great. They sign a 70-30 contract with Ephraim 70% and David as the 30% partner. And they find one night while searching through the database of federal contracts, they find a contract for 100 million rounds of AK-47 ammunition. Hot damn. That's a lot of ammunition. So, they secured this contract by severely underbidding all the rest of the competition by like $53 million. So the government's like, yeah, you guys can do it. You guys we'll vet you, but and then they vet and they have committed fraud and forge all their paperwork, and then they have to find. But the thing is that this contract they had to get supply, had to have a supply, and it turned out that Albania had a supply of 127 million, I think is what they said, AK-47 rounds left over from the Cold War. But where did this ammunition come from? China. China is where it came from. And then you can't just give export international trade laws, man. You can't have the United States buying a whole bunch of old Chinese ammunition and using that for the Afghan forces for like the next however many years. And considering that they repackaged the ammo, which was hilarious. They were like, "Oh no, it's Chinese ammo. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" And they were like, and I was like, as soon as they were like, "Oh, it's Chinese ammo, why don't they just like repack it in like lighter boxes or something like that?" And then you save money on the shipping, and you fix the problem of the bullets don't have where they're from on them. And I mean, they still work, so I mean, it's totally illegal. But that was my first thought, and then that was immediately the answer that they jumped to, and I was like, I should not have gotten that right. That probably wasn't a good idea. Probably bad that I knew that that was a good idea off the top of my head. So then they save a bunch more money from repacking. But Ephraim, we find out, is an asshole. Even though we find out that he's kind of an asshole early in the movie, but he's not like a super asshole until much later in the movie when you find out that he's kind of been a dick the whole time. You hear, oh, actually, it was Ephraim who stole $70,000 from his own uncle. You're like, oh shit. And then after some shit happens between David and Ephraim, Ephraim is a jackass and he goes and destroys the one fucking copy of the contract that that David had. And then they're trying to work out this deal and then people get arrested. But the main reason that they got arrested was because Ephraim was a fucking greedy jackass and didn't pay the stupid $100,000 that he owed to the people who repacked the ammo. If you're gonna do illegal shit, pay your people. If you pay the people, they've got no reason to rat on you because you paid them. And if you paid them once, you might pay them again. It's good business. If you don't pay your people, though, they're gonna fucking turn on you. So then you find out, these guys made tons and tons of money. And their company got put on a blacklist until 2022. And there's some other stuff that happens, but it's good stuff to know, good for the story, and it's what makes the story interesting. I think that pretty much, this was pretty favorably reviewed by most critics. I think it has like an 80% almost on Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe it's like 79%. It deserves the high rating though. It gives an entertaining view into the world of war profiteering as a whole, and in a specific case that occurred in United States history in like 2008. So, and most of the time in this movie, I was like, man, I wish that somebody would hire me for their arms dealing group. Where do I sign up for a job like that? Make good money, travel. I don't have a girlfriend right now. So I'm not finished being divorced yet, so. But there you go. Overall, I gave this movie like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was interesting, fun, exciting, funny. All those things that you would expect it to be. It was probably one of the better movies that I've seen in the last few weeks. So, yeah, I definitely recommend going to check it out if it's still playing in a theater near you.